Yeah.
Isn't that over instruction for someone who's coming up to? All right then.
Right, so how did that feel?
The control bit, I like that, because I wouldn't have thought to immediately do that as soon as there's an error. I would have started waffling.
Yeah, so I think why, and obviously I did
make it safe, and then
I did deliberately have a car in the distance behind me, and I knew he was going to that blue, whatever it was. I think it was a little Toyota.
When you were slow.
Yeah, I mean we had some classic examples along there. I've never seen one come together like that before. Where obviously the bloke coming towards us in the white van was going way too slow, and the other bloke pulls the overtake off, and it was a dangerous overtake, wasn't it? So you've got to get me safe first.
Yes.
There's no good me driving out there at 20 mile an hour and a 40 limit.
Yeah.
You've got to move me on. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh, speed up a bit."
Not enough. No.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. It's got to be. It's got to be numbers.
Yeah, you've got to give me a Pacific.
Yes.
And say to me, by the next lamppost down there, you want me to be doing that Pacific number, yeah?
Yeah.
So then you get the car moving, and then when the car is moving, it's then you've diffused the situation. Then go into the consequences of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The analysis. But if I could just say, it would have been an error in my part if I'd asked you to go quickly there, because I should have seen, as an instructor doing the exam, I should have seen that the car was overtaking, and I should not have asked you to speed up there. I should have said, "Oh, there's a car overtaking us. Just we'll hang back until."
Well, to be fair to you, at the same time as you were saying it, he was moving around us. But don't worry, I'll actually respond to that. It was instantaneous as you were saying it.
Yeah.
It actually happened, yeah?
And a mirror image at the end as well.
Yeah, at the end of the road. So, with the road position and that, you handled that quite well. You got me safe first, yeah? You'd be surprised the amount of times I've spent sitting there by the white line, and I'm getting a great big speech about this, that and the other. And in the end, I have to say, there's a great big 40-ton lorry coming. Shall I move over or shall I hit him? Yeah. Oh, let's move over, shall we? Yeah, so... First. You got me safe first. That was good. Yeah. And with the speed, I could see where you were coming from. You were just going to start waffling a bit, and then I cut in immediately because of the fact we did have road users behind us. So you need to get me up to that speed first.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give you all excuses under the sun. I've got my test next week. I want the examiner to think I'm a really safe driver. Yeah. I'm a Sunday driver. I just like poodling around, yeah.
Poodle buggy, yeah.
Yeah, and you can sit there and listen to me all day long, and listen to my waffle.
I've got to be clear and concise, and I've got to do it. I've got to get you to do things. And
then when we came to the road positioning, I did say to you on the overview, if I was to accept the first one you came up with, then I'm not going to find out how much more you know, yeah.
Yes,
I'm not going to say he's going to take you through all of them.
Yeah.
He might well just push you for 2, and he's quite happy then, yeah? But if he really wants to, check your knowledge, he will carry on until you get...
3.
Yeah, well, at least that reference point probably will actually be pushed, yeah? But
in other words, that's why we're here, the reference point here. I know we're reviewing. But you'd want me to say about the quiet road.
Yeah.
That would be number 4.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I believe, talking to Blaine, it is actually possible to actually come across some SEs in the country who will push you to give a reference point on the move. And it can be done. But before you go into, have you got a reference point for your normal road positioning?
Yes.
You want to say to them, I don't want you to take your hands off the wheel, and I don't want you to point, yeah?
Safe.
Can you just tell me... But I wouldn't even go there unless he comes up with a comment. Surely you can help me with this reference point on the move.
Is that a cue for me to helping on the move? To help?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't think Blaine's ever seen it.
Yes.
And he's sitting on over 700 tests now.
Yeah.
But
I'd rather not.
But I believe... some of them will push you for it. They couldn't fail. You know, they can't fail you if you don't do it. Yeah, and I just wouldn't go there. I would just suggest, that we find a quiet road where we can stop in a normal driving position, so we can reset the reference point. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're probably going to find at that stage, you're very nearly back at the test centre. He's going to say, "Okay, I've got it now." Yeah.
Right. Now, if we can just divert a bit. So, if we do it here, this quiet road, the centre of the lane. Well, you've got an edge here, but you haven't got much of a centre, you see. So, would I have to do an imaginary line?
Yeah. Well, I don't need a centre. If it comes to that, you need to let this car go first. If it comes to that, you need to set up a reference point for normal road positioning.
Yes.
Then I need to get the car into a normal road positioning. Yeah.
Yeah, I know about the doors width from the edge, but if it's a narrow lane, you can't do that. You've got to get in the centre of the lane. So we're going to get a centre of the road in this case.
So I mean, there's nobody behind us now. There's nobody coming towards us.
Yeah.
So that's my normal road positioning. Yeah, for normal driving. Yeah.
Yes.
So where does the curb cut into the car, Tony?
Right.
Go on then, ask
we
me.
get the normal one. Where's the curb cut into the car then?
Oh, just by that bubbly bit there.
Okay. Well,
so that's your position for normal driving, yeah? That
is a position for your normal driving position.
Yeah.
When you're on the move.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one you stick to.
Let's just get out. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Does that make sense out of road?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well that's clear. Those 4 bits. That sounds good. And consequences I need to.
A lot of people think, oh, I hope I don't get this PST.
I don't want to think that.
But I actually think it's quite a good one.
Well, it's got the highest failure rate, no matter what Blaine says.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a 55% failure rate, I think, or 54%.
Is it?
Yeah, combined with a 50 for the phase 1. The meeting, etc. I've got figures to show that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what's involved in it, and I think people don't look at what's involved in it, and if I did give you a good overview at the beginning.
Yes.
Positioning wise, I'm only going to go one way or the other. The ADI one says that the SE can't go too far to the right and too far to the left. He's got to decide which way he's going to go. Yeah.
Yes.
He's also got to play it that he's either going to be too slow, or he's going to be too fast for the conditions. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just do a left here, and I will drive too fast for the conditions, and let's just see how you handle it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now remember, I'm not going to break the speed limit because obviously I don't want 3 points on my license. I'm not going to go on your license. I've got to go on mine. Yeah.
So but if I know, or if I have a feeling that this is coming next, which is the third
let's just see how you handle it. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just say, we're doing the exercise again. Yeah.
Right. Tony, what?
Yeah. By the time you get us out, George, we're going to be dead, and yeah.
Yes, we are.
Right.
Got to get the control.
The control element.
Yeah.
The control element is quite simple here. I'm going way too fast for the road.
You're too fast for this road.
Yeah.
By that blue car, I want you to be going 10 or 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go into the bit about I'm too fast for this road.
Yeah.
Tony, 20 mile an hour now. And then you can go into the what, why, how, and the consequences afterwards, yeah?
Right. Okay.
So Tony, 20 mile an hour now. Because don't forget, while I'm going along at this speed for this road where I cannot stop in the distance I can see to be clear, yeah? So therefore, the control element is Tony, 20 mile an hour or 15 mile an hour, whatever the case may be, now. And then I will immediately respond to that because you've given me a command, yeah? And
so I don't want an emergency stop. I want you to stop.
No, it's not going to be an emergency stop. Yeah. So let's just try that again. So, as you can see, it's not safe to do 30 mile an hour along here. Now watch, if I got to 30 mile an hour,
Tony, 20 mile an hour now, please.
Yeah, don't
20 mile an hour.
Don't be fighting and raising that voice a bit, yeah? Put a bit of urgency into it.
Okay.
So we'll try that once more. So I'm going to turn right here.
Turn right at the end of the road.
I've got parked cars here. I've got a blind bend, so
Yeah.
I'm getting the speed up to 30 mile an hour. Yeah.
20 mile an hour now, please.
All right.
Yeah. You've got this. You've got parked cars back there. You've got a blind bend. Don't know what's coming around it. So what are the consequences if you are unable to see around the corner and you're travelling at 30 miles an hour?
No, I suppose I might hit something, George, will I?
Absolutely. Oncoming car wouldn't be able to stop in time, particularly if they're going at 30 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
So you need to travel according to conditions on the road at the time.
Yeah. If I hit a car, if I'm doing 30 mile an hour and I hit a car coming towards me doing 30 mile an hour, that's going to hurt, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You've got a total 60 mile an hour closing speed, and there'll be an awful lot of damage, perhaps death as well.
And we're going to turn right here.
We're going to turn right at the end of the road, please, Tony. No.
So,
as we turn into this new road, I'd like to see you.
what's a good speed for this road?
What's a good speed for this road, Tony?
Oh, about 20 mile an hour, George, because of the speed bumps, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes. What else might you see around here which should keep your speed down to about 20?
There's a lot of junctions, isn't there?
A lot of junctions, and also they haven't got very good visibility. Got estate, perhaps lots of young children about.
Yeah, I mean the one thing that is controlling my speed here is the traffic calming methods. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously, I shouldn't be building my speed up to 30 and then braking for each of the.
That's right. You have to keep it at the same speed.
It should be a constant speed, shouldn't it?
Now, do I need to tell you that? But you should sort of.
Well, I gave you a good answer,
error,
yeah?
So I should, yes.
So, yeah, I made an error and I was going too fast for the conditions. So, as I turn into a new road, and don't forget, because it's phase 2, questions are okay, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
You know, a question is not going to affect your level of instruction because you're not actually giving me any instruction, you're just asking, you're just trying to get inside my head.
Yeah.
So,
it's a new road question.
Yeah, what's a good speed for this road?
Yeah, what's a good...
Yeah?
Good opener.
Yeah, and I'm... You know, okay, I might give you the right answer, I might give you the wrong answer. If I give you the wrong answer, then you need to what, why, how, and give me the consequences again.
I'm going to tell you what the right answer is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I've got to tell you how to do it. I've got to tell you the consequences.
But if I give you the right answer,
yes,
and I say, 20 mile an hour, then come at me with another question. Why?
Absolutely. I was going to ask if 20 is the correct answer, it might be by chance. So I've got to say to find out if you know a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah? Why are you thinking 20?
Oh, because of all the parked cars, George.
Yeah. So that's good. What? Anything else? I might ask.
Oh yeah. I know that at 20 mile an hour I can stop within about 3 car lengths.
I think that was good. You know, as an Instruct PDI in the exam, I think that was a good answer.
Yeah.
We don't want to explore that anymore because you give me the right answer.
So they're not out to trick you. If you ask a good question,
yeah,
they will see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And have you ever read on the forum where people say, well, it's not actually on the forum, but if you look on the plain site and that, the SE with the right level of instruction will be your best pupil, yeah?
Yes, often.
Yeah,
often
with the wrong level of instruction, it can be your worst nightmare, yeah?
Yes, I've seen that.
And they're not actually doing that on purpose. They're doing that because they know that if you're sitting back and it's phase 1 and you're not controlling and you're not educating, then when you're out with a real student, it's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
You've got no control over the situation, and there's no education taking place. So they're going to play it the way a real student would play it, without that correct information, and they're going to turn out to be your worst student ever. Yeah. But with the right level of instruction, they'll probably be your best student. Yeah.
And that's what I feel that's what the examiner would know and do, because that's part of the role play.
Yeah, I mean the role playing exactly.
It's not just a role play; it's also a bit of not a game, but you know what I mean. It's they do there's a schedule of what they have to respond, how they have to respond. And the best pupil is when they get very good instruction and their response is, well, I'll just stick to the rules here.
You know, there's, you know, if they're coasting and you haven't noticed they're coasting, coasting is not a great big area that, you know, oh, if I have a nail is coasting, I'm gonna fail. You're not gonna fail on coasting because it's an amber fault, yeah.
Yeah.
I know at Luton he will actually give you a great big clue he's coasting if you don't notice it. He'll actually give the engine a rev. In
your car, I think you've actually got a nice deep bed there, so it looks. I could actually see your leg moving. I think, or his. Sometimes it's a bit dark in smaller cars.
Yeah, I'll actually show you how to spot coasting in a minute.
Yeah,
and we'll have a look at how you can actually hear it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people worry about coasting, but if you don't notice the coasting, then I will chuck in a lifeline where, when the car is moving, I'll rev the engine, and obviously because I'm revving the engine and the car's not speeding up, then you know the clutch is down. Yeah.
I think I'll probably pick it up because, better now because I'll be looking at you as opposed to other. Do you want to?
No, not for me, thanks.
Okay.
So let's just give you an example of how you can hear coasting. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So if I get in the second gear, well, I'm not coasting. Yeah.
Oh, that's coasting.
I am coasting.
Yeah.
I'm not coasting.
Like yeah.
I am coasting. Listen to the sound of that. Can you hear it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a bit like a car that's actually been driven over ice. Yeah. You know when you're driving on an icy road,
yes.
You can't hear any sound. Yeah. So I'm not coasting. And I'm not going to do it at the moment because this Range Rover is going to make love to me if I do.
Then I'm sure he hasn't got a nice bottom.
So I'm not coasting.
That's coasting.
That's coasting, yeah.
Yeah, because you lost the impetus.
Yeah. It's a sound. It just sounds like the car is just driving across. It's not actually in contact with the road surface.
I've got to be aware of that. You're not going to coast on sort of phase 2 by a PSD10. You know, so I've got to be aware as well. From my point, I've got to prepare for an exam by being aware of what PSTs they're going to coast on.
Coasting normally comes in with anyone that needs the mirror signal, position, speed, look routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, coasting wouldn't apply to progress, hesitancy, and normal road positioning. Yeah.
No.
But anything to do with the mirror signal, position, speed, look routine.
It relates to the gears.
Yeah, the gears come into that, so the speed comes into it. So it's going to be. I could coast on that, but if you don't notice it, I know at Luton anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
So he will actually give you a lifeline there, and when you hear that, you know he's coasting. So have you got any questions on what we're doing so far?
No, that's what I need. If you just talk about these two PSTs, I think I've got that. I think I've got the hang of it. And probably, if I was in the exam with those two combined, the junction emerging and this as one, then I think that would be sort of okay for me.
Well, what I'm trying to get across to you is, over the next few lessons, is I'm not particularly worried about PSTs in particular. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in you being able to use the tools
to apply
of control and educate at the phase 1. I don't care what the phase 1 subject is.
Yeah.
And a phase 2 to use your core comps to.
So So I've got to be able to use the general skills that you're teaching and I'm learning to apply to any of the PSTs.
Yeah, and that will come. It's not going to come today, because you're not being shown how to use them. But the reason why we picked two totally different subjects is to show you, well, that's, the control in education is very important on the phase 1, and on the phase 2, then it's getting in with the core comps once I've made the error. And that's an ideal one to use, is because of the fact that you need to get me safe first.
Yes.
On the speed and on the rope.
That's right.
On the position.
Yeah.
And then you need to go into the consequences, and then obviously you've got to remember, you've got to give me some what we call remedial action. You've got to tell me how I can sort it.
Yes, and then the next time I've got to, was it tell you again, or is it then tell you twice and then question?
Well, you don't always need to tell twice. What I normally say to my students is, tell me once and then ask me once.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no harm in telling me twice. But normally, if you tell me once and ask me once, when I have a go at myself and I'm talking out loud about what I'm doing, you'll know that I've got it.
That'll be the third time. So tell you once, and then
tell me once and ask me once.
Yes, that's right.
Then I probably should get it by then, yeah, providing you've given me the right talk through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you want to kind of say, right, I'm happy you got that now, Tony, but I will keep an eye on it. So in other words, we've moved on.
Tell once, ask once, and then the third one is, I'm happy you've got that. I'll keep my eye on you now. Yeah,
and it's very important to pass it back to me, because of the fact that if you don't, you'll forget.
Yeah.
And I'll be still wondering, he's forgotten about this.
Am I right? Am I wrong? Yes.
And I'll start to make other errors in there. So pass it back to me, so it's done and dusted. Because you've got to remember, I've got my test in 10 days' time, and I want to know that, as a real student, I'd want to know that, well, that's been sorted. So I get my confidence back with that error that I've made.
Yeah. So the last 5 minutes, really, of the phase 2, I should give it back to you and let you drive, and I just observe. I'll sort unless an error comes up in that.
Yeah, I mean,
because the test is coming up.
Yeah, I can say to you, on some of the subjects like turning right, turning left, which comes in a phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to zone in on these PSTs, because they're pretty much just about either, as I say, control and educate, or the core comps. Yeah. But some of them could actually drag right back to the end of the test. If it was left and right hand turns and you hadn't sorted a certain area of it, it might even finish up being sorted in the car park right at the end by you asking have you got any questions?
Have you got any questions?
And if you haven't actually sorted out a certain problem, then this is probably your last chance to do it now, yeah? So don't forget and ask that, have you got any questions yet? Because
I understand.
Say
no more.
There could be a difference between a 3 and a 4, yeah? As long as he goes upstairs and he knows that you know, even though you've only told him once, he actually knows that you know then, because don't forget, he knows you're nervous. Most of these SEs have probably been instructors themselves, yeah? They probably set where you've set. But when he goes upstairs, if he knows that you know, then you might well end up getting a 4 and a kick in the ghoulies, yeah.
Yeah, but he needs to know that I am safe enough to give his daughter a driving lesson and get her through.
Where did you hear that from? Yeah, that's exactly what they look at. There's two ways they look at it. Is most SEs with common sense will say, well, is she safe enough? Is George safe enough to take my daughter out for a lesson on Monday morning?
Yeah.
And would I be quite happy for George to have a check test coming up in 2 months?
Yeah.
Or 3 months or 4 months? Because they know the check tests, the first check test now, they're trying to get in within the first 6 months. And most of them are coming back within 4 months now. And if he's actually signed you a bit of paper to say that, you're okay to get get your green badge, then it's going to come back and bite him in the backside if you get a disaster on your first check test. I'm not saying your first check test is going to be perfect. It's not, because check test is quite nerve-wracking.
It's an hour, isn't it, as well?
Well, it's 50 minutes. They normally want you back in 15 minutes. Now we pause this so it doesn't go into meltdown.